So, Hussain, as you are currently our spotlight on the screen, could you give us your 2 top tips for running an efficient and effective innovation program?
My top, I consider it as the top hint for any system to be success. It's the manager. And even my workshop and my speech that I do all the time, I link the culture, the whole culture, with the management. And I link it with belief, the word belief. If the manager believe in the whole system, the whole organization in a safe place. But if there is any doubt from the management, or they are not sure, or they are hesitate, or anything like that, it's a big problem for the whole system. Thanks God, we worked so hard in Dubai Custom and our managers, and we achieved it. And the result, like what I said to you, just happened from the director that he, like what I said, it's not forced, but he put it as a KPI for all the managers in Dubai Custom to come up with ideas, both financial and development. And also the second one, of course, this is like what I said, I link the management belief with the whole culture. So if you want to start any innovation scheme, you have to start with the manager. Emotional intelligence, themes, you do whatever, you need a managers that they are believers of innovation. You give them movies from America, or show them anything that small ideas are important, medium ideas important, anything you can do just to convince this manager that it's very important to have this culture. Then you can start with other things. Otherwise, like what I said in Dubai, some of the departments in Dubai, they have the money, they have the tools, they have everything, but it's not succeeding because the managers are blockers, or they are rejecting ideas, okay? So you have to start from top to down. And also, the second thing also, don't let KPI to put you down. This is what I see a lot of people also, they are disencouraged from KPI. And like what I said, there is no KPI right for everybody. Every department, they have their own, they need to have their own KPI. For example, in Dubai Custom, like what I said, because we have thousands of ideas, we cannot look only from the how many ideas you received and how many implement. 100%, the number will be 0.0 something. We don't go with this. We go with how many we go for the culture itself. How many we received, how many is real, how many, the whole culture. And when you cascade this type, you will see your culture that you are developing every year slowly, but you are developing, you are going up. And the third part, the engagement. It's very, very important. A system without employee or customer, there is no system. So what we did in Dubai Custom to achieve that, the third part, we started with our section, which is the Innovation Center. We had 0 rejection method in our Innovation Center, which means my employee, they cannot reject any idea. It doesn't matter from where, from which department to which department, it's not their business to reject it. Because if we reject, that other department, they will say, oh, because you reject, we can reject too. It will encourage them to reject even. That's why, and also the employees, we have 3,000 employees, they have to love us, not only to like the Innovation Center, to love the Innovation Center, because they know the Innovation Center will always back their ideas. It doesn't matter small, medium, and large. And sometimes we have a clash with even managers to implement ideas in certain departments. And if you have these 3 secrets, trust me, any innovation, even if you don't have an electronic system, you will succeed.
Thank you, Hussain. That's great. Eiman, we'll come to you now for your experience with Abu Dhabi ports and your expertise. Thanks, Hussain.
Thank you, Hussain. Thank you, Jayne. For me, I think let's say top tips, I think Hussain covered many things, and what I would like to add are maybe from my perspective, senior management commitment, senior management commitment, senior management commitment. What made us what made us succeeded in our journey, that our CEO himself was sitting on the Ibtikar, our idea management committee for several years, and he was attending the sessions, revising the ideas, listening to people who are, for example, defending their ideas. So he built, that culture that this is important to me as a CEO. So it's important to the whole organization. And he linked it also to our strategy, and linked it to our monetary and financial, even now financial lending leverage. It's tied to innovation. So now it's like, it's a big deal. We need to have a commitment. This is one, a senior management commitment. The second one is building the platform. I'm assuming that we are having the right people, right tools, and we have I'm assuming, the system itself, it's tricky because we always feel that the system will be helping us doing everything. And we try to embed and enforce many tools, many techniques in the system to help us to have a little bit of, I'm not saying AI, but at least to have more automated processes. But it didn't work, to be honest, because we don't have the expertise. So we need an expertise to do, someone who knows how to deal those, how to have an excellent system in terms of automated system, because we have repeated ideas. One of our problems is repetition of ideas, and the system doesn't pick that. So we need to have people who are already, they know how to come and check the ideas if they are repeated or not, and so on. So we are now working on to avoid these kind of things. So people who will be working in the idea management system has to be tech savvy, to be honest, because it helps a lot. It will minimize a lot of the hassle between you and the IT people when you come and challenge them. Yeah, this one is not working for me. This one has to be. I saw this happening there. I saw that happening there. So having a person who is a tech savvy or has a background in IT or background in digitalization will add huge value. And because I saw it. I'm a tech savvy. I have a field. I was a computer science graduate, so IT didn't fool me in this regard. So we are implementing our ideas, enhancing our system, and we have the ambition also to have our system running by itself. And inshallah, we'll reach that.
Thank you very much. And I'm not tech savvy, so yeah, I'd be no good at that. But I'm pleased they've got you.
No offense, no offense.
Well done. Thank you very much for sharing that. Sam, can you give us your couple of top tips?
Yes, so without touching or trying to tread over the ground that's already been discussed on the panel, but building on from that tech savviness that Eiman just mentioned, one thing that we have found useful is a learning algorithm. I wouldn't go so far as to call it an AI, but our platform does use a learning algorithm, which, while it doesn't really help you in implementing ideas, it does help you identify patterns. So it can help you identify patterns in repeated ideas. It can help you identify patterns in similarities in ideas, so they can be attacked together and implemented together. And it helps you identify patterns of ideas. So if you're launching a new project, you can see what the system might suggest to bring into that project from the gamut of ideas that have already been suggested, and we find that quite useful. The other one, Tina just touched on one thing that you mentioned earlier, was that line management blocker. This is something that we struggled a lot with in HSBC, especially when we consult with other areas of HSBC group, is that the expectation is that if anybody submits an idea, the first point of referral for that idea is their line manager, which isn't always the best. And in fact, we've removed that in everywhere that we've touched because a line manager very rarely has the ability to implement a change, to review the concept of an idea, doesn't really understand the background to the process. They are a line manager, they're a people manager. So, that's our top tip, I think, is to get rid of that assumption, if you have it, or if it's present in your organization, that the first person who needs to review an idea is the person's line manager. Yes, they might need to be aware of it because they need to know what the issue is or the underlying cause. Not saying that they shouldn't have sight of it, but they do not need to be there as a blocker, as Hussain said, to stop that idea from escalating up to the person who's actually got the ability to review it and implement the change.
Thank you, Sam. I think that's
Sorry,
a really
I'm watching the
good tip.
clock there.
No, that's fine. That's a great top tip. I know we're just running over slightly, but hey, this is too many golden nuggets, so that's perfect. Thank you. Dr. Ayesha, would you like to go next?
Sure. All right. So I would call my tips the top, the bottom, and the in between. The top is that we need to tap on what motivates those top managers. They want the image, they want, or the top leadership, let's say. What motivates them? Because we need to design an internal system that keeps them excited about accepting ideas, motivating others, and creating more trust around managing the ideas, and through all the way through implementation. So honestly, we need to understand that, because it is like a kind of investigation. It's a kind of understanding your organization. And you all mentioned that each organization has its own culture. It's motivated by certain things. There are lots of examples. I don't want to take the time, but COVID-19 accelerated innovation, launching immediately. R&D was accelerated. My organization was motivated by being at the forefront, saving lives. So all of that facilitated our role from the idea management system and the innovation ecosystem. The bottom is about recruiting champions within the organization. Honestly, you need to have those champions who are enthusiastic, excited, they believe in the system, because you will spread them all over the organization. They are the ones who look at the ideas, follow up on them, and as well as keep people excited and make sure that the rewards are happening, the lists are coming to leadership, and the recognition is happening. So this will help us, the engine, to move. I mean, they are like the oil to this engine. The in-between is everyone else within the organization. And honestly, we need to start building a system. I would call it like the ideas police, the innovation police. We need to start looking, investigating where are those pockets of ideas, potential R&Ds, potential innovation. We do it in DCAS, in Dubai Corporation. People do a lot, but you need to find them. We need to find ways and tracks and approaches to reach them and make sure that they get excited about telling us about it. They trust us. And I think Hussain touched on this as well. So the in-between is the majority, the champions, and the leadership.
Thank you. That was very succinctly put. Thanks very much. And finally, but no means least, Jayne, can you share your top tips with us?
Yes, I think I'm going to go back to basics when we talk about requiring a culture of engagement. And I think that has to start when you employ somebody. Okay. Get them right at the very beginning. And I'm very fortunate that my company give me a 30-minute slot on every employee's induction when they first start to work at RICOH. So I give them all the tools at that point, and I explain how important engagement is to the company, to the business. And it's actually, we give them two jobs, the job they're employed for and a continuous improvement job they're expected to take part in. So it gets that culture right from day one, from when they sign the contract. The second one for me is timely implementation and recognition for your suggestors. If they're sitting waiting year on year on year for an answer, for a result, for feedback, they're never going to put another suggestion for you. So that timely recognition, implementation and feedback is important, and it will carry you through year on year to build on your suggestion scheme or your ideas program, innovation, Kaizen, all sorts of things that we run. So I think those two for me are the mainstay criteria and can see you through a long term.
Thank you, Jayne. And I'd just like to say a big thank you to all of our contributors today. You have all been fabulous. You all run fabulous programs. You all know what you're talking about. And actually, I definitely want to pick up on the suggestion that we start doing some collaborative documents together and sharing that expertise amongst a wider audience and beyond. So thank you again for all of your expertise and sharing with us today. So your eyes might be better than mine, but that's quite small for my eyes. But I would just invite you. This is only day one, so we've got day 2 and day 3 still to go. And day 2 starts at 9:30 in the morning, or if you're in the UAE, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30 p.m. For you guys, 4 hours later. The whole topic tomorrow is sustaining innovation. So how we innovate for a regenerative future. And then at 11 o'clock, we've actually got someone sharing about the nuclear industry. So if you think there's too much red tape in your industry, believe me, there's red tape in the nuclear industry. And if they can innovate, so can anyone. Then we've got Chris sharing a little bit about can regulation support a self-improving system, a knowledge nugget, and then another panel discussion at 1 o'clock. So if you haven't had your questions answered yet, then it's another opportunity for you to ask a different panel tomorrow. So thank you, everyone. Thank you again to our fabulous panel, to Eiman, Hussain, Ayesha, Jayne, and Sam. I really appreciate your input. Thank you to all of you for participating with us throughout this morning, and really look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Zina. Thanks, everyone. Nice meeting you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, Zina. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Thanks, Zina and Helen.
Thank you.